Hey, ladies. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening to everybody. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. This is a special Monday edition just because there is so much happening in the news. And I saw this article when it came out last week. And then some people started talking about it in the YouTube streets, and I wanted to come and give my 2 cents about it, all about Girl Buy That House. So, first things first, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a realtor. I am not a mortgage broker. I am a homeowner, though, and I'm going to be giving you my perspective of the 25 tips that you should follow when it comes to buying a house. So we've got Becoming Boss C in the house. Hello. We have, this will definitely be good. Hello, Divested Power Ranger Gang. Computer and Coin is always in the building. And Lakina. Hello, Lakina. Saying great topic. Welcome, ladies. So, a couple of announcements before we jump into the topic of the day. The first thing is we are ramping things up over here at Black Women Making Money. And that includes me finally setting up our Gmail account so that you all can email me topics that you want to talk about, interesting stories that you're finding all over TikTok or things like that that you want me to comment on with regards to finances, money, the economy, things like that. So the email address is officially bwmakingmoney@gmail.com. bwmakingmoney@gmail.com. I'll be checking it on a daily basis, and I will be coming in doing maybe another live during the weeks. I'm going to have more guests coming on as well, including one of my friends, Victoria, is coming on Sunday to talk about credit and getting out of debt. So there's going to be a lot happening on the channel, but your girl still has her full-time job that she's ramping up. So a lot of stuff still is going to be happening on the weekend. All right, we've got D'Ambrosia in the house as well. And yes, Computer and Coin is reminding everybody to please like the video, share the live, especially with those people who want to be first-time home buyers. So let's first of all go to the article that came out in the New York Post. And it says here, single women are outpacing men in home ownership. This came out last week. So let's read a little bit about the article and see what they're saying here. They are saying all the single ladies are buying property. Indeed, a recent study found that single women are outpacing single men in home ownership. This new trend has come as a shock to many and is bound to have long-term effects on the financial market and generations to come. Single women own roughly 10.7 million homes in America, compared to 8.1 million owned by single men, according to a recent analysis from LendingTree that looked at the 2021 census data. This surprising development has spread nearly across all of the country, with single women being more likely to own a home in 48 of the 50 states, all but North and South Dakota. And ladies, the only reason it's not North and South Dakota is because that's where oil rigs are, and there tend to be more men in those states than women. Okay, so first of all, one of the things I think that's happening here is a lot of women are being left property by dad, by husband, and they are choosing not to get married or not to get married again. Some women may have these through divorce and things like that, you know. But we are getting property, we are holding on to property, we are buying property with inheritances. I use part of my inheritance in order to buy the property that I live in now. So we're doing smart things with our money. Okay. Let's read a little bit more about what's happening here. So, this is sex segregated ownership. In most states, single women outpace single men in home ownership. And according to we call it the green here, the more green the area is, the state is, the more homes that are owned by single women. Now, when I looked at this, I see Florida, I see New York, I see New Jersey, I see California, that's at a deeper green, I see Louisiana, uh, I think that is Mississippi or Alabama, either one. Um, it looks like I don't know if that's Georgia or not. Let me see here. What does this say? Is this Georgia? Y'all can let me know what you see with regards to the different states that are very, very green. Um, but this, this map is surprising with knowing how many single women are owning homes in a lot of these states. So, look, the map is green, ladies. The map is green. You see me, I see you. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so this is saying here Florida, Delaware, and Maryland reported the widest gender gap among single homeowners. The Sunshine State has a 4.55% gap, equating to 262,000 more single women owning homes than men. So, ladies, I think we are doing a good job. We're doing a good job with regards to owning houses. So, hey, fine womanhood. I also want to make a statement here that I want to go really quickly through my 25 tips. And then, if we have time, I'm going to open up the panel for people to come on and share any tips that they have. But in the meantime, in the chat, if you have tips, things you agree with, things you don't agree with, things you want to add to while I'm going through my 25 tips, definitely do that. I will also say tip number 6 and number 13 and number 25 are my favorites. So y'all hang on and you will see what those are. So let's see here. Otto, what happened to my presentation? Hold on. Let's see if I can find it again. StreamYard seems to be a little wonky tonight. Let's see if it shows up this time. There we go. Okay, thank you, fine womanhood. I saw you're gorgeous. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's a wonderful compliment coming from you. Okay, ladies, get your pens, your paper, your note taking device, because these are my 25 tips. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a realtor. I'm not a mortgage broker. Talk to a licensed professional. Also, like the video and share the live stream with women who want to purchase their first homes. But these are my 25 tips as somebody who is a homeowner. Okay, number one. When you're buying your first home, realistically, it's going to take you 9 to 12 months to prepare. A lot of people want to think that I could do it in 30 days. If you have a lot of money and you live in certain places that aren't very competitive for homes and you don't have a lot of standards, then yeah, you probably could do it in 30 days. But I will tell you that the best way to do it is to plan for like 9 to 12 months. So let's say you just signed your lease for your apartment and you know you don't want to sign another lease for an apartment. Now's the perfect time for you to start the process because there are things that you're going to need to do to prepare for home ownership. Number two, I suggest you start with some sort of a financial planner or somebody who can help you put together a budget of how much you can actually afford. The reason I suggest you start with a financial planner and not a mortgage broker is because a mortgage broker, their whole goal is to sell you as much house as they possibly can because they want to have more of a check. They get a commission based on how much house you buy. But sometimes the bank will allow you to purchase more house than you actually should afford because you will have things like utilities that you have to pay. You'll have to pay for garbage collection. You may have to have HOA fees or condo fees, lawn care. We spend a lot of money on lawn care because we have some acres on our property. Things simple like gutter cleaning and maintenance around the house. So I do suggest you start with a financial planner and really coming up with a budget based on all of the other things that it takes to be a homeowner for you to figure out how much house you can actually afford. Number three, interview at least three mortgage brokers versus bankers, and I'll explain to you what the two different ones are, and find ones that specialize in first time home buyers. Okay, a mortgage banker, let's say you have a Navy Federal account. If you go to Navy Federal and talk to the banker there and say, hey, I want a mortgage, then what they're going to do is only pick from Navy Federal products. Now, Navy Federal is great. Maybe they have something there that works for you, but maybe there may be some other bank that will give you better options. If you go to a broker, then they have access to all sorts of banks and all sorts of products. So I'm not telling you not to go to Navy Federal. Go to Navy Federal, but also at least go to two to three other mortgage brokers. Now, they will do something called soft pulling your credit. And soft pulling your credit does not count against um, your credit score. Okay. But they'll be able to look at that and say, okay, based on what I see with your credit score and your income, this is how much house you're going to be able to afford. These are the programs that I suggest. The reason you want to go to mortgage brokers that specialize with first time home buyers is you are looking for the man or woman that knows every single down payment assistance program in your area, in your city, in your county. If you are a veteran, if you are a teacher, if you are a civil servant, anything like that, you want the person who can, quote unquote, give you the hook up on the down payment assistance programs. A mortgage broker will also give you the 411 on how to increase your credit score enough so that you could knock off points, you can get a better interest rate, things like that. They will say to you, you're looking for a strategist and not just a paper pusher. A strategist is going to say to you, okay, if you pay off this $5,000 credit card, and if you go to the hospital, let's say you have a $10,000 outstanding balance at the hospital, and you offer them $2,000 and you get them to sign a letter saying XYZ, that'll bump up your credit score 40 points, which then will mean that we'll be able to reduce your interest rate. You do not want a paper pusher. You want a strategist. You want a person who can actually work with you and give you a game plan for those 9 to 12 months that you're working on actually getting into that house. Okay. I have high student loans. Student loans were not an issue for me to get into my house. I have not heard of anybody say that $80,000, $100,000 in student loans has kept them from getting into a house. Car loans are different, and car notes are different. Any kind of consumer debt is different. Okay, next thing, consider applying for NACA. I know of several people who have done NACA successfully. NACA stands for Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. It's NACA.com. It's a government program. It is a program where you don't have any down payment expenses, no closing costs, no mortgage insurance. It does take 9 months to complete, but NACA is where it's at if you're trying to save your money with regards to down payment assistance. Okay, NACA.com. Number five, in my opinion, stay away from adjustable rate mortgages, also known as ARMs. Get you a fixed rate mortgage for 30 years or even 15 years. I chose 30 years, and then I just pay a little extra on my principal every month in order to pay it off a little bit faster. Stay away from ARMs though, because that's how a lot of people got caught up in the last recession. Number six, this was one of my favorites. No major purchases during the home buying process. And now I have to say no Beyonce tickets during the home buying process. Okay. We're going to talk about Beyonce on Wednesday. But This is so important because a lot of mortgage brokers have had people screw up their ability to purchase a home because during the home buying process, they bought a new car or they leased a new car or they got a new credit card or they even inquired about getting a new credit card, like filling in the application. No, no, no. Don't do any of these things. You buy nothing until after you close on your home. Trust me, when you close on your home, you will be able to get the newest, baddest car that is out there. But if you buy the car first, your home buying prospects are going to end up in major trouble. Let's just say that. Okay, next, number 7, know your must-haves and, if possible, start with the starter home. We are not starting as Real Housewives in a McMansion. You wanna have your must-haves. So, for example, when, my mom and I said, "Okay, let's" I purchased a house, but she wanted to come and live with me, and, that was great. I had a must-have of I wanted land. I wanted some acres. I had a must-have of I wanted to live in rural America. I didn't wanna live in the city anymore. I didn't wanna live in the suburbs. She had a must-have of she wanted a garage. So, there were houses that we did not look at because it did not have our must-haves in it. You're not gonna get everything necessarily on, like, some big, huge list, so one of the things that our house does not have, we don't have great closet space. Some of you may have to have great closet space because you have a lot of clothes and shoes and things like that. You need to know what your must-haves are. For some of you, it's going to be location. Some of you, it's going to be the school district that the house is in because you have kids, etcetera, or, you are co-parenting with the father and you want to be within a certain range of him, etc. You got to know what your must-haves are. Next, number 8, if possible, try to go where there's less competition. And that may be living further out. Could be living further out in the suburbs, could be living further out in the country. Maybe you're an hour to an hour and a half away from the city. Couple of great things with living further out. Number 1, you get access to USDA loans. Number 2, there's less competition. We were the only people who put a contract on our property. We have a really nice property, but the closer you get to the city, you're going to be competing against foreign investors, Blackstone, all the big corporations are trying to get those houses, you know, people putting 30, 40, 50 contracts on a house within 3, 4 days. So, Computer and Coin is saying the mortgage lender goes over your bank statements and paychecks with a fine tooth comb before letting you close. That is true. Number 9, you want a competent real estate agent. For some of you, your friend who just started in the business may not be the best person for you to be your real estate agent or your mortgage broker unless they have a mentor that they are working closely with and getting counseling from. You are a first time home buyer. You want somebody who's going to be a shark at negotiating sellers' credits. Sellers' credits are things like, hey, we did the home inspection and we noticed that the roof needs to be redone in 3 years. So we want money knocked off the property price so that we can account for that within 3 years. Things like that. A great real estate agent knows how to negotiate. Next, number 10. If you're buying a fixer-upper, there are things called 203K loans. Look them up, Google it, talk to a mortgage broker about it. Fixer-uppers, like really big fixer-uppers are not for me, but I know some women who I know a woman specifically who, paid $50,000. She bought a house from the city for like 500 bucks. She added 50,000 to it to fix it up, and she owns the house free and clear now. So some of you may really like the whole fixer-upper thing. 203K loans is where you want to be. Hey, Celine, nice to meet you. Beware of condos, number 11. I'm not a fan of condos. One of the things that I understand about condos is that, let's say the roof is leaking on another part of the building. It's not leaking on your unit, it's leaking on another part of the building. It doesn't matter that it's leaking on that part of the building. They will take that bill and cut it amongst every resident that lives in the property and send you an additional bill for something that is like is not affecting you and is not happening like near you or anything like that. So I'm not a fan of condos, but I know some of you may like living in a condo. Number 12. Homeowners associations can be good. They can be your friend. I know that some people don't like the idea of being in an HOA because they tend to have rules. You have to make sure that your grass is cut. You have to make sure that your garbage cans are put up. You cannot have tires and a car jacked up all in front of your property or the oil leaking or things like that. HOAs are great because they maintain property values. So when my mother and I lived in the suburbs, she had an HOA, she was on the HOA board. It maintains the property values. There was, black couple that moved in with their black son, and this is not racial. This is just me painting a picture for you. And they started playing very loud music, and the HOA shut that down immediately because if you let these things fester, it reduces the property values in the neighborhood. So if you live in the suburbs, you will most likely want to find a place with an HOA. You'll probably have a place with an HOA. Selena saying I don't prefer condos either. I like to have some land. I love land. Love it. Love it. Number 13. Drive by the neighborhood at 5 p.m. on a weekday and 8 p.m. on a Saturday. Why? During the weekday, you will, around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you will see who's coming home. You will see how they're dressed. Are they white collar? Are they blue collar? Either is fine. Um, you know, do they go to work? Do they not? Do they work from home? Things like that. 8 p.m. on a Saturday, who's having a party? Who's playing loud music? Who's just out and about? I mean, I'm not talking kids playing, stickball or something like that in the summer. I'm talking like stuff you don't want to be around. Okay. So drive the neighborhood, figure out if that's someplace you actually want to live. Okay. When you are ready to close on a house, that you've signed the contract, everything's good to go, you're going to work with the mortgage broker and they're going to tell you to wire money to the title company. Here is where a lot of fraud happens. It's a really big issue. So let's say you're supposed to wire money to Bank of America account number 123456. You will receive an email potentially from a scammer that will say, "Oh, I'm your mortgage broker." Well, it turns out that that bank account that we told you to wire that money to is wrong. Instead, you need to wire the money to ABCDEFG. People have lost tens of thousands of dollars looking at that email and following those instructions. If you get that kind of email, immediately call your mortgage broker. Do not email, do not text. You get them on the phone and say, "I got this email telling me to change the wire instructions. Did you send that to me?" 99.9% of the time, they will tell you, "No, we did not send that to you. Do not send your money to that false bank account." If you send your money to that false bank account, you will lose your money. You will lose your money. Okay, so I need you to listen to number 14 really, really carefully. Computer and Coin is saying, I prefer an HOA community. They help keep the neighborhood looking good. They do. They do. Especially a good one. Check the HOA fee history first to see how they charge over time. That is true. I have something to mention later on about the HOA fees as well. Number 15, schedule a locksmith for the day of your closing and change your locks immediately. So, what happens at the closing table is you're going to get the keys from the old owners. The problem is they're giving you the keys that they have, but their cousin Tyrone may have a set of keys, and their auntie Jackie may have a set of keys, and Lucius up the street may have a set of keys, right? So what we did was the week before we were scheduled to close, our close was from like 10 to 11:30 or something like that. We scheduled time with the locksmith the week before for the day of closing. And we said, okay, meet us at our new house at 1 o'clock. And we changed all them bad boys. We changed all the locks just in case. What are your thoughts on the article that came out with NYT saying, oh, yeah, that's what we went over at first, Fine Womanhood. I loved it. I think that it is, not surprising that more single women own, more homes than men. I think that a lot well, I won't say a lot. Some of it is from inheritances, and women are just, not getting married again after the husband dies or, getting divorced or things like that. But I also think that a lot of women are making money and we're making smart choices. Instead of putting our money into crypto and things like that, we are deciding to own homes. Some of us are like, I got an inheritance, and part of my inheritance, I used it to purchase my home. Um, so, we're making good money, etc. But I did speak with another Black woman who said that she thought it was scary because she didn't say concerned about how the men would feel, but it was something along those sentiments, like, are the men going to retaliate, and I don't know. But yeah, I think that was actually the spark for me doing today's session, Find Womanhood. So everybody, I'm going to drop the link in a couple of more minutes. I've got 25 total tips, and we're on number 16 now. Uh, Number 16, be friendly with your neighbors. This is the time that you want to be friends with a good Karen. Now, I'm not talking about racist Karen that's going to give you a problem, but you want to be friends with Karen who is making sure that everybody is following the HOA rules and everybody is doing what they should be doing or what they need to be doing to keep their properties up. You also want to be friendly with your neighbors because they will tell you if someone is on your property who should not be on your property. They will look out for you and for your children if you need looking out for. We do have neighbors with the binoculars, and they will let us know an Amazon package is here. I mean, they're not super, super crazy, but one day they said something, and my mother was like, "How do you know that?" And the neighbor said, "Because we have binoculars." Like, they look out for you, right? Let's have a candid conversation. We are Black women, more importantly, Black. I understand that when we move into certain neighborhoods, that people are going to look us up and down for a couple of months out of concern. We have to be honest about that because they are concerned that we are going to bring issues into the community. Once your neighbors are like, okay, she's cool, she's got herself together, she's professional, all of this. You may not like me saying it, but this is this is a part of, how things work in our community and in society, and we have to be honest with it, right? Um, and I think that I know for like I live in rural America, like I said, our entire block is white people, and they are super cool here. So you're saying you'll catch the replay, okay? Hey, Asia. Time to use those people skills. Yes, absolutely. Yes, a good Karen. You need a good Karen. Those binoculars. Look, the binoculars are true. Hey, God bless. Hello. All right, in a couple of minutes, I am going to drop the link for everybody as well. Number 17. People may want to throw you a housewarming party, things like that. They can throw you a housewarming party, but one of the best things that you can get are gift cards from Home Depot and Lowe's. Why? The first thing I needed to buy when I moved into my house were the big garbage cans, like the big outside garbage cans. Those suckers are $90, ladies. You know, the big garbage cans? Like, if you just had apartment living and you don't know this, like $90 for those things. Okay. And we needed two. So, there are other things around the house, like certain tools and things like that that you may want to have. So, yes, Home Depot, Lowe's, maybe Walmart, more so than Target. Walmart has like a lot of stuff for the home and things like that, but you definitely want to get those gift cards. Number 18, you want to have an emergency account for home repairs. If something happens, you know, issue with the toilet, the roof is leaking, anything like that, you want to make sure you have some money saved for emergency home repairs. I would say a minimum of $2,000 or whatever your insurance deductible is like a really safe bet for you to have. Number 19, you want to spend a little bit of money every year on regular maintenance. One of the issues that people have is, let's say you live in a house for 10 years and then you want to sell. If you defer all of that maintenance, you're going to get a big bill when you're ready to sell, or you're going to have to sell your house for less than what others in your neighborhood are selling it for. But if you spend about $3,000 to $6,000 a year just keeping up with little things, then it doesn't get overwhelming for you. So you want to have good income coming in and be fiscally responsible in order to do the regular maintenance. Okay, number 20, and I am going to actually put the StreamYard link in for everybody here. I'm going to put the StreamYard link in here. So if anyone wants to come up and give me your tips, you can. Number 20 is, oh, did I do that wrong? Ah, got it here. Hire, I want to make sure that I got this right. Sorry. Hold on, everybody. I think something happened with my StreamYard. Let me know if you can still see my, yeah, it looks like it's back on. I'm sorry. Hire a licensed and insured contractor and get permits for major repairs. Okay, that's number 20. One of the issues you might have with trying to resell your property, let's say you do a major rehab and you hire somebody who is not licensed and who does not get the permits you need for that rehab. When you try to sell the house, you may not be able to sell it because the county and the county inspectors will not like pass the house because you didn't get a permit for it and it wasn't done by someone who was licensed and insured. So when you're doing any kind of major repairs, always go for somebody who's licensed. Make sure they're licensed. You usually can go to the county and or the state. I think it's the state. You can go to the state and you can see, like, ask them for their license number, go in, make sure that they're licensed and insured. Okay. Um, Number 21. If necessary for the first couple of years, there's nothing wrong with house hacking, but have some strong rental terms. So let's say that it's you and another woman. You don't want strange men running in and out of your house. So, like, you really need to vet the person that you are house hacking with that's like renting a room from you. But if you can find someone who's really good, it can defray some of the costs for the first few years of owning a house. And again, everybody, I put the link for StreamYard in. So if you have something you want to say, definitely feel free to come up. And yes, God Bless is asking everybody to click the like button. Um, Asia is asking, I've always wondered about maintenance fees. Are they the same as HOA? No. So HOA is a homeowners association. Those fees are different from just like regular maintenance that's happening. God Bless is saying right now I'm saving funds to remodel my kitchen. Yeah, look, it's costly. Um, as someone who knows people in the home warranty industry, you will get reimbursed for covered home warranty repairs if the contractor, you will not, sorry, get reimbursed for covered home warranty repairs if the contractor is not licensed. That is the truth. So, yeah. Number 22, some banks play dirty. Some banks play dirty. They will take your home if you start missing payments. Um, Especially if you have a lot of equity in your house or you're in a gentrifying neighborhood. My neighbor, when we lived in the suburbs in Virginia, had this happen to him. Now, he was onto a little bit of foolishness. He got into some trouble. He lost his job. He, missed some payments, and we had a lot of equity in our homes, because we all bought it at the same time. And he ended up being able to scrounge up the payments before foreclosure was supposed to happen. He sent the payment to the bank, and the bank refused to cash his payment. I don't know if it was legal or not, but I know he was foreclosed on. Some banks play dirty. Whatever you do, try your best not to miss payments on your house, or work with your bank as quickly as possible in order to make sure you don't lose your home. Another thing, HOAs can sometimes foreclose as well. So you want to, as you are thinking about getting into an HOA community, you want to know what the rules are with regards to an HOA being able to foreclose. Sometimes they can foreclose because you're not paying the HOA fees, or, sometimes there's certain violations that you're doing that can cause them to foreclose on your house. Next, put your house in a trust to avoid probate and ultimately to protect your children. You definitely want to check with an attorney and your local laws with regards to this. But you want to protect your children. You always want to make sure that your children have a place to live. And your house, along with some life insurance, like when I got this house, I got life insurance to cover the mortgage. So that way, if anything happens, my mother can use the life insurance to pay the mortgage, and at least she can live mortgage free. You want to be sure that you're setting your kids up where they can live mortgage free, rent free. They will always have a home, and putting it in a trust is the way that you can do that. Definitely check with your attorney with regards to that. Number 24. This is big one here. No one moves in your home, especially men, unless you were house hacking. No one moves in your home, especially men. No, you can't get mail here. No, you can't stay here for 8 months. You need to be ruthless about who comes into your home. Some of these individuals understand the landlord laws better than you do. They know that if they stay over 28 days, you can't get rid of them. You're trying to put that man out of your house. You throw all of his stuff on the porch. He's been cheating on you, running around, blah, blah, blah. And the cops will come and arrest you depending on the jurisdiction you live in, because it is illegal for you to put him out of his home, even though it is your home. You paid the mortgage, you put the down payment on, etc., etc. Be ruthless about who comes into your house. Final thing, if you are getting married, y'all know I'm a fan of marriage, especially if you want to have kids. I'm a fan of marriage. Get a prenup and include your house in the prenup. Even if he is a high value man, you get a prenup, you include your house in that prenup. Judges are starting to rule against women when it comes to property, when it comes to divorces, especially us, because we are upwardly mobile women. Two stories I have for you. The first is, I had a friend many years ago. She had a good job. She ended up getting pregnant for this man. He was doing okay, but not as well. She bought the house. She put her money into the house. She made all the mortgage payments. When she got divorced, the judge made her sell that house and give him half of the profits from the sale of the house, while she kept the kids and had to maintain the kids. Number two, the second story was even worse. Had another friend, good friend in DC. She lived near Howard University. She bought a very nice townhouse near Howard University when they were about $300,000. He was laying hands on her. She married him. She moved him in. She had a son with him. He was laying hands on her. She finally decided she wanted to leave. She wanted a divorce. Judge said, well, ma'am, you have to pay him X amount of dollars as a divorce settlement. She said, but I bought this house before we were married. Judge said, I don't care. That house today is probably worth $900,000. She had to sell that house. Not only that, she had to pay him alimony. When she said she almost fell out in the courtroom. She was an upwardly mobile woman. I'm trying to warn you now. I'm trying to warn you now. Do not let anybody, just anybody in your house, I don't care how much of a high value man you think he is. Computer and coin, give me a second. You see this woman on the screen here? You're going to look like her, ready to pull off your earrings and put your Vaseline on if you work hard and a man, especially a man, steals your home. So with that, I'm going to read a couple of things here. LOL, no, you can't leave your toothbrush here. Absolutely not. Mokamami saying, wow, it is so much more complicated. I purchased my first home for $88K with a military ID and LES leave earning statement. Okay. You're saying, God, right? God bless. Prenup is like insurance. Please include the house, include everything in that prenup. And that's horrible. Yep. Yeah, it is. Computer and coin. Hello.
Hey, Cherie, good evening,
Good
everyone. Good evening. How you
evening.
doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I feel good today. Thanks for asking.
Good. Yeah. What you got, girl?
Yeah, this is a great show. Another great topic. I love it. I saw that New York Times article. I thought
Hmm.
it really interesting, and I got to thinking. All my girlfriends, all of us, we own homes, but there are some good tips on that list. The one you mentioned about the contractors, for especially for single women, just
Hmm.
really be careful when you have people come into your home to like
Yeah.
quote you for yard work, to fix something, a plumber, etc. Because sometimes if they see that, or they figure out, I've had folks, do work in my home. Oh, I can tell you don't have children. How can you tell? Oh, there's not stuff all over the place, or whatever.
They will
But
look for
just be
children. They
careful.
will look for a
Yeah,
husband. They will look.
they
Yeah, they will.
will.
Hmm.
And they'll base on depending on what they see, they may quote you higher. So just be really, don't ever take a first, even if you're going with someone who's licensed and bonded and Better Business Bureau, all of that. Always get more than one quote for work and compare prices, right? So if there's someone is quoting you, their prices may be different, but they all should be within the same range, right? So
Hmm.
if it's like super low, be careful, because if you
Hmm.
give them the job, they'll start off super low and then halfway through they may say, oh, but it's going to be more than what we thought it was going to be, and then end up charging you more. So
Yeah,
that's
you're
one
you're
thing to be
absolutely
mindful
right.
of.
You're
Hmm.
absolutely right about that. So, because we live in rural America, when we lived in the suburbs, and during the time we lived in the suburbs, I felt more comfortable that the cops would get to us early enough. But here where we live now, we ended up, exercising our 2A out here. And we now have two German shepherds as well. And one of our German shepherds is a guard dog. And I've been talking, I love the fact that he is such a guard dog. He doesn't let anybody on our property without us knowing, and people will, as Amazon workers and people like that are like, oh my goodness, for our dog. But I feel
Yeah.
more secure with him being here
Hmm.
because I know there are certain contractors or people who will come, look like through and see, oh, she doesn't have anybody here, and she, it's just her, or it's
Hmm.
just two women, and they
Hmm.
will they will tip off other people as well that, oh, it's
Mhm.
just two women here with, nothing else. So, or just one
Sure.
woman. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two good things. And then if you can, just have some money set aside for an emergency, even if you have
Mm-hmm.
a home warranty,
Mm-hmm.
because things. I got in trouble early on because things add up fast. Like you have to get the
They
grass cut,
do.
you have to do this, you have to do that, and then if something else happens, it's just good to have a little bit of something extra on the side in case you need to get some work done, or a pipe bursts, or your hot
Mm-hmm.
water heater goes out, etc. Because you just never know.
Yeah. So for anybody, a hot water heater is like $1,500 job. So, that's why
Mhm.
I suggest people have at least 2K. If worst comes to worst, at least have it on a credit card, and you never use that credit card for anything unless it's uh, an issue. And then over time, if you can save money and have it saved away, cash, then
Mhm.
you definitely want to do that. But yeah, anything can happen in the house. And unlike an apartment, you are responsible for it. You're going to have to get it fixed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And good
Um,
neighbors will look out for you. They will watch your
exactly.
house. So you
Find a Karen, a Bill and a
I'm
Karen,
telling
and shoot. Mocha Mommy is saying here, we have a prenup. My house was a small, but he and his brothers had generational land in Puerto Rico. Divorce lawyers liquidate assets. Lawyers take their fee off the top, but kids, women get stiffed. Yeah, they do. Especially if they see you have assets. So I definitely want to look into rural and USDA eligible homes. You should definitely look at that, which is why I suggest people really give yourself 9 to 12 months for the entire process. By the time you do the research, you talk to people, you get your credit report together, you get your savings together, things like that. It really, if you comfortably want to do it, it's really going to take you 9 months. So, anything else, Computer and Coin? Anybody else wants to come up? You can. You got me for like another
nothing
four
else.
minutes.
Yeah, nothing
Okay.
else. Thank you again. Another great show, Cherie. You have a great channel. So
Thank
please
you.
do keep
Thank
doing
you.
what you're doing. You're really helping a lot.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. Well, you want to stay up because I have one more thing to show actually before we
Sure.
leave. Um, this is something that came across my desk earlier today, and I thought it was interesting. So let's take a look at this news report and $150,000 for a three-bedroom home. Let's see what they're talking about here.
Nevada is 84,000 homes short. The housing crisis across the valley hasn't even gotten much better since interest rates soared. A growing Las Vegas company says it has this solution. It's called Boxable. Boxable can build these small homes in a matter of hours. Today, they unveiled their newest game changer right here. It's a home for a whole family that can be built in just days at a fraction of the cost.
It's a cool house.
Would you live here?
I was shocked about how much room is in those things.
I've been wanting to go tiny.
You see yourself living in one of these places?
Oh, for sure.
The purpose of Boxable is exactly to solve the housing crisis. So this is a scale play to do houses in volume.
Las Vegas company Boxable unveiled their newest prototype at the International Builders Show. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house with a deck. The cost, $150,000. It can be built from the ground up in days.
That is how we solve the national housing crisis.
The company recently opened its second warehouse in North Las Vegas to keep up with demand for its smaller model. The casita is 400 square feet and has requests from everyone, from families that need a backyard guest house or granny pad to the Department of Defense. The CEO says there's 170,000 names on the wait list.
At the factory, we're making a home every 4 hours. We'll be down to 20 minutes by the end of the year.
The company insists they're not about tiny homes. From the latest model to prototypes they envision in the future, you can design your home by stacking shelves how you see fit and walk you through the process to buy a plot of land. To build more larger models very fast, the company's already looking for a third factory site, possibly in the Apex area.
will scale from 2 to 6 million square feet, making it really one of the largest factories anywhere.
It looked like it'd be good, affordable housing.
If timing works out, that third factory may come to the Valley in 15 months. If you want that model home, it's not available yet, but you can get on the company's wait list.
What do you think, Computer and Coin?
Wow. I actually think this is great. This reminds me of the prefabricated houses they had, I believe in the 50s. They had something very similar to this where you would buy a home in a box. I think those
Mhm.
prefab houses back then were like, I believe metal. I forget the material, but it was the same type of concept. I would definitely be interested in it. I would definitely have a independent home assessor to check it for safety. But if it would fit my budget and I could get a good piece of land and get the plumbing and all that, and it's affordable, I would definitely be open to something like for
Yeah,
sure.
because something like that, it looks like you could buy an acre of land, and
Hmm.
if you work remotely, you can go someplace, buy an acre of land really inexpensively, buy that house, and have a very inexpensive mortgage on it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And those
I
prefab
Mhm.
houses from like the 50s, I believe their value, if you can find them, and they're in good condition, their value is so high.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
it is. The only difference so they made houses a little bit differently than they make them today, but you
Mhm.
can even get one of those 1950s houses and modernize it a bit. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Jay and Cornette is saying 170,000. Wow. Yeah, I mean, if it were just me and not, the other family members that I have, including the 2 dogs, I definitely would have lived further out and gotten something like this. Mocha Mommy is saying, "I feel like the housing shortage is fake. Corporate landlords are getting tax breaks for empty apartments, but increased property tax on regular homeowners for housing initiatives." Well, I don't know if the housing shortage is fake or not. I do know that I'm seeing a lot more homelessness, and the housing affordability is what is really, shaking things up. It will require government intervention in order for us to deal with it. And I don't think that the government has an appetite for that for various reasons. Number one is because we are not buying our politicians. So politicians are going where the money is, and where the money resides is not with us. Um, but anyway, that is the show for the evening. Anything else, Computer and Coin, before we get out of here?
Nothing else. Just again, keep up the excellent work. Thank you for sharing. Just very helpful information that we all could use and have, and making it accessible to everybody. It's great.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you for always being here. I'm going to give you all the rest of your evening back. Definitely share, first of all, like the video, share the stream, especially with women who want to purchase their own home. Or maybe you have a son or somebody like that. These are, good tips all around. Okay. Thank you so much, ladies. I'll see you all. Y'all gonna get me on Wednesday. So we're gonna talk about Beyonce on Wednesday. Okay. Take care. Night.